Do not be afraid of what you cannot see. You cannot see the air you breathe. Think of us, your guides, as part of the air that you breathe.
Have you ever wondered what it might be like to ask a spirit guide directly a question? Well, that's what you've just heard. In today's video, we're going to be doing something a little bit different because we're often asked questions about spiritual guidance and about guides, so we thought we'd go direct to source. I've asked Jill to come along. I've mentored and worked with Jill for over 5 years, which includes channeling. And for those of you not sure what channeling is, it's simply the ability to allow a spirit guide to communicate through you. So Jill's main guide is called Michael. So I'll be asking Michael a series of questions about spiritual guidance, about what guides are, free will, karma, and what people struggle with in life. And you might want to stay tuned until the end because I asked Michael what guidance for you living in this time in human history. Now, as always with spiritual guidance, take what resonates with you and simply release what doesn't feel right. Your discernment is your inner guidance. So let's begin and see what Michael has to say.
I have been a guide in 2 previous lives for this spirit.
And is this normal or just specific for you and your partner?
Sometimes the main guide has had no previous connection to this spirit on earth, but often at least one previous connection.
Thank you. Now, many people may be wondering how a main guide or a guide can help us with our human life. What would your opinion be on that?
Some living the life on earth can be completely unaware of the existence of any type of guide. That is part of the journey and the reason that they are on that journey. Others are encouraged or not doubted as young children on earth, and therefore they are more aware of the existence of not just a main guide, but other guides as well. As a main guide, my job, for want of a better word, is to make this being's life on earth easier, to nudge, to warn, and sometimes to protect this being in her transition through her life on earth.
So how does that meld with free will?
A guide can only suggest, guide through different options. Free will cannot be overturned, overruled, or ignored by a guide. There are times when the exercising of free will causes different levels of harm or inconvenience to this being on earth, but we cannot change that if that choice has been made. We can only offer mitigation by way of nudges to other options.
Now, some people that have suffered greatly in their life might wonder why the guide has not guided them or helped them to get out of the situation they've been in.
Lack of awareness of the nudges or hints that we are permitted to give can cause these issues in an earth life. Not being open to or aware of these hints in their life, these synchronicities, these little step-ups can make life very difficult on occasion for the earth being.
And what if a child is born into struggle? Why are some children born with either situational health issues or family situations as they are born?
Those children have come to this earth life with a great many lessons to learn. This is part of their karmic journey. necessarily. Parts of their life may take the form of those of which you speak. You have a saying, part of life's rich tapestry. The minute the child is born, there are challenges which must be overcome in order for them to cleanse their souls from previous lifetimes, mistakes or actions.
Does that mean that those people who are experiencing an easy life with no suffering, does that mean they have no karma? Or how does that work?
There is balance in all things. Some on the earth plane seem on the surface to breeze through their earth life. This may also be as a result of their own earth choices and free will. However, when they move through to spirit at the end of that lifetime, any enlightenment, awareness, or uplifting of their spirit may not have been achieved, and that will be addressed in the next lifetime.
Okay, thank you. I mentioned briefly about karma. What is karma?
Karma is an energetic attachment from an action which may not happen immediately to achieve balance, but may happen in the next lifetime.
And how would someone know if they've achieved the balance?
Opening, accepting, and living a spiritual life of truth on the earth plane would be a good indicator.
And how would someone know they're living a spiritual life on the earth plane?
Being kind to others, being kind to themselves, to be truthful, to be loving, to be pure in thought and pure in deed, to not expect others to necessarily agree with them, but carry on with the spiritual life without the spiritual connections, the earth and the people thereon.
You spoke a little bit earlier about what you were allowed to do. Does the spirit realms all have laws or rules?
There are more, they are not laws as you would see them, but in spirit, the structure of laws is not required like the structure of laws on the earth plane is required. However, there are unspoken rules of guidance.
Benefits of spiritual connection to their guides. What would you perhaps say are the most relevant for the majority of people?
The majority who have awareness of guides use a light, almost tentative connection, but it's based on either non-understanding or fear of what they cannot see. Those who go deeper in their connection and embrace it fully are those who reap the biggest rewards from being in touch spiritually with their guide.
And what would the biggest rewards be?
Easier navigation through their life, flow, positivity, and they are at a higher vibration than their neighbours.
If you were to share a few words to our viewers about perhaps some of them are on a new awakening journey of spirituality, whilst others may be more understanding for development purposes, what would your guidance be for those seeking information?
Do not be afraid to ask. Your guide has been with you since the moment you were born and has maybe watched helplessly at times whilst you don't see what has been put for you and make a choice otherwise. Believe you me, there are times when we feel frustration, when your guidance comes from someone who does not know, and Do not be afraid of what you cannot see. You cannot see the air you breathe. Think of us, your guides, as part of the air that you breathe. Take it in, learn, appreciate, and your life will become a life of flow and ease and peace of mind and harmony. Do not be afraid.
Sometimes that is difficult to let go of, for I believe we are born with some level of fear. Why would that be?
When you are born, your innate feelings come with you. Therefore, it is hard to negotiate around the instincts that have come with you. Those instincts are carried in your DNA.
So are you describing the toddler with the tantrums because it already spiritually knows that it can have what it wants?
That would be a good example.
Are you also describing when they are constantly told no or denied, and yet their innate understanding is I can?
That would be encompassed by that, yes.
What would you say to parents that have children and are negotiating this particular time in the toddler's life?
Recognise in yourself as a parent that your child is also accompanied. There is no reason why your spirit guide and that of your child cannot interact and aid the child out of the distressed state that they may find themselves in through an inability to express themselves.
Would it help the parents for them to also understand the spiritual connection with their own guides and how to perhaps phrase things differently or provide different experiences?
Yes, indeed. It is extremely difficult for a parent who is shut off from their own spiritual nature to step into an alternative method with their child. It is almost a door that won't open for them.
Hence another benefit where relationships are more easier and more fulfilling.
Yes, indeed. The understanding of your child's new adventure on the earth and their spiritual guides is something that would benefit all relationships.
Moving on, what is happening in the world today, especially with a lot of the younger generation? There seems almost an epidemic of depression within young children or teenagers where they struggle. Can you give any information of why this seems to be?
Much as the older generation have had their challenges growing into adulthood, in many ways they have been freer to listen to nudges, hints, and other options from the spirit world. They have been negotiating and interacting face to face with other humans and other feelings and other senses and other energetics. However, the age of the computer has prevented this generation from even interacting face to face or with other energetics. The thought, the feelings, the notion of spirituality is so far removed from this generation to have gone backwards in many respects. For a teenager to interact with a screen and not a person has done enormous damage. How can they understand what social boundaries are if they never present socially? That in itself, how will they recognise the different energies in the different people that they meet if they don't meet the people? They have become almost single, insular beings, and that is not how a human being should live. To deprive yourself of social interaction is so damaging to your psyche, your emotions, and your energy that the result is a shutdown of any spiritual connection. This is something that we in Spirit are extremely concerned about, and it is fueling such discord on planet Earth.
So what can we do as viewers, as parents, as children that may be watching?
To permit, encourage, and recognise fully the spiritual connection that each human being necessarily has with Spirit. It is not dangerous. It is not damaging. It isn't lunacy. It is so necessary that a young child brought up without the squashing of the spiritual connection will survive better in its human life going forwards. This is very necessary for the next generation to be able to retrieve peace and harmony on the earth.
Could I ask for your comments or guidance to the viewers as we are in this time in human history?
Live well, live open, live with connection, treat others well, allow them to treat you well, and the darkness will slowly lift away from the earth. You in your life deserve to have ease, flow, and support. This is all ready and waiting for those who open themselves to their guides, to Spirit, to the universe. Live in truth, in love, and in light.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So our gratitude for today's guidance and information. Jill will now disconnect, and thank you very much for channeling Michael.
You're welcome.
I hope you've enjoyed this video and found a lot of the questions and answers interesting. And if you have any more questions, please leave a comment below. And if you'd like more channeling from us, just ask and we'll make another video for you. But perhaps you're finding it time to activate your own spiritual inner guidance. So there's a link in the description below, but please remember to like and subscribe and share this new channel and help us grow. And we can bring more spiritual information and more discussions like this one. Take care. Thanks for watching.